Welcome to Perspectives El Paso. I'm Professor Leon Blevins, Professor of Government at El Paso Community College. For those of you that watch from time to time, you've discovered I have a wide variety of people that I have on this show. It's not just politicians, government officials, celebrities. I have a lot of people that are just from the general community. And sometimes I get telephone calls from people and they'll say, I want to be on your show. And I'll say, well, why should you be on my show? And then they explain a little bit. And some of them I say yes to. And some of them, if I realize they just want to advertise their business, sell products or something, I'll say, no, I don't want to do that. Or they want to simply propagate their religion in their church or something. I'll say, no, that's not the objective. My objective is to inform and present material about people and situations in El Paso, Texas. So today, this is what? This is almost Valentine's. Look, somebody just put us a nice little display right here. And this is the second week of February of 2016. So one of these telephone callers is here today. John, is that right?
John Summerford. Nice to meet you, sir.
John Summerford?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, John, I knew you were coming, and now I discover you brought someone with you. Tell us who you brought with you.
This is Alexa Escapita.
Alexis?
Alexa Escapita.
Escapita.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and I think you have something to talk about. You told me on the telephone it's an organization on leadership.
Yes, sir. We're actually NSLS, National Society of Leadership and Success. Mm-hmm. We're an honor society out of UTEP, and we can give you a call just so we could kind of promote ourselves a little bit better, especially amongst other students that really don't know about who we are and getting ready to transfer over to UTEP from EPCC. Mm-hmm. Nationally, we're the #1 society based on leadership. And what we do is actually help our members find their leadership skills, find their strengths to become better leaders, for, say, career futures or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Basically, just really help an individual grow into a leadership position.
I remember teaching at Texas Western College, now UTEP, 65 to 67, got my master's there in 67. And one day, this is very vivid in my mind, I was teaching a class, and a young man holds up his hand like this. Mm-hmm. Mr. Blevins, how do you define leadership? I said, well, here's how I define leadership. Leadership means designating a direction that you want people to go, and then doing things to motivate them to go that direction. Related to that is communications. Mm-hmm. Are you communicating with word and actions what you want people to do, and you can get them to go that way? That's how I defined leadership back in the 1960s in that classroom, and it's still in my brain. Why did you get interested? Let's talk to you then. Why did you get interested in joining this organization? Were you invited to join it? Did you hear about it and wanted to join it?
I was invited to join it, and that's part of what the National Society of Leadership and Success does, is they send out invitations to people that show leadership at UTEP, or they have a 3.0 or higher. Mm-hmm. And so I got a letter in the mail, and I thought, because mostly you have to pay $90, and it's just for the fees, because in the end you get a certificate and you get to wear graduation stoles. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was kind of a scam at first, but I looked into it, and when I joined it, I saw that there was people that were encouraging me to follow my goals, and they're trying to show me that it's possible to follow, that your dreams can come true. Mm-hmm. And that's why I joined it, because it's very homey, and people are encouraging you, and a lot of people don't have that encouragement from their family, so it's like definitely a second family, and right. That's why I liked it.
One time I was talking in class. I like to tell stories about class and my students, and I was talking about, I was much shyer when I was younger, mm-hmm. but I also kind of showed off to get attention or something in classes, but I still had a shy aspect. And a woman follows me out of the room after the class was over. She said, Mr. Blevins, do you think shyness is inherited? My daughter is shy. Do you think it's inherited? I said, no, it's learned behavior. She observes you. Did you used to be kind of shy?
I was very shy, actually.
Okay. Well, then you began to say, well, look, I've got to do something to bring me beyond shyness.
Mm-hmm. And so when you first join, there's different leadership opportunities. So one of them is called a facilitator, mm-hmm. which they lead a group of 5 or 6 people and keep them accountable of their goals. And one of the Success Networking team coordinators, she said, how would you like to be a facilitator? And me being shy, I was like, no, it's okay. Like I'd rather not. And she said, no, it's going to look really good on your resume. So I said, okay. So I signed up. And as I became a facilitator, being that having to lead 5 or 6 people and show them that not to be shy, I've learned to actually overcome my shyness, and I am a little more outspoken now compared to before.
That's leadership, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I myself started off as a facilitator due to Alexa inviting me to the position.
Yes.
Then after a while, I started helping out, like little groups of 3, 4, occasional 5 students. And then by the end of the semester, there was an interest by the chapter president, maybe if I was interested in the board member position. So now I actually hold the chairs of a co-social events chair and community service chair.
Okay. Sometimes I challenge my students to think about this. What do you think about a leader that stays behind those that he's leading? He's back at the back instead of out in front. And they're saying, what is wrong? What do you mean by that? I said, think about that. Sometimes the leader, if he gets out in front, like in a military situation, he's the first one that's picked off.
Yeah, that's true.
So sometimes to be a great leader is you have to motivate people that are willing to go out there and take the challenge, perhaps of dying, but you motivate them. You're developing strategies. You're reading the maps. And if you die, then they're going to be lost. They're not sure what to do because they've lost their leader. What about that concept?
That concept is sound, but in the society, we're teaching everybody to be a leader. Not just to lead other people, but to lead themselves.
Oh, okay.
To lead themselves to their goals. What path are they going to take to achieve what they want to get? So basically, anybody can be a leader. It just depends on what kind of leader they're going to be.
Well, really it starts with each one of us, individualism, and then in the family. Our family we grow up in, or we start our own family, and we expect leadership from the parents, okay? And then the extended family. You're looking for the grandmother or the grandfather, especially these grandmothers here.
Oh, yes, sir. I got one of those.
You got
the little Mexican afro thing.
Okay.
She almost passes out if you say you haven't eaten. Ay, mijo.
Yeah, exactly. So you know who's in charge, you know who's making. I ask for a show of hands. How many of you grew up in a hand where the mother was a dominant figure there? Quite a few hands are going up now. There used not be as many. How many of you grew up in a home where it's a dominant male figure? Hands go up. How many of you grew up in a home where you were in charge? You were young and you were the prince or princess in the house and everything revolved around you. And most of them are a little hesitant about that one. So there are different aspects of leadership, yourself, the group that you're working with. Now what about programs, events that you set up or you engage in? Tell me about that.
Well, we do a lot of community service because it's actually a requirement for induction for our new members to actually at least achieve 10 hours of community service. So we always accept any, if not all, invitations to help in the community. Just recently, was it December? We helped with the El Paso Children's Home get toys for kids in need. Okay. A Secret Santa thing.
Okay.
What else have we done? We've done a lot.
We're actually we're gonna do Project Move. So we're gonna help the YMCA. We're gonna help them build some stuff that's they have like an empty lot, and we're gonna help build. I don't know if it's a playground. We're gonna help build that for them.
Oh, okay.
And last year we did what's it called? Like when you build houses for the community.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wasn't a part of that, but this year I am going to be a part of the YMCA. And in 2014 or 2013, we helped El Paso High by cleaning it up and fixing the yard. And I actually went to El Paso High, so it was nice to see all the new things that they're getting and that we're doing for them.
Very soon I'm going to be doing a television show about the 100th anniversary of El Paso High School.
Cool, I graduated from there.
So you want to watch for that in the next
I will.
I went to Austin.
El Paso High is better. Yeah, of course.
They're all worth something.
Yes, they're worth something.
They're all worth something. Well then, so these are things that you do, projects.
These are, like.
Do you get these from suggestions from members? They'll say, why don't we do this?
We get from members, we get it from people emailing us. When I first started, I actually brought the notion of helping out Family Service of El Paso with the turkey drive, because I was a work study there, and I offered help to Claudia Carrillo, the social worker there, to get turkeys for families in need that were unable to afford turkeys for Thanksgiving. Okay. So I brought it to the chapter president, Rachel Castillo. she liked the idea, and from there we were able to raise a good number of turkeys for some families there.
Okay.
You know, so it could be a member, it could just somebody that emails us. We're always open to suggestions for community service ideas.
Okay, a question I've asked a lot of times on my show is about who inspired you as a young person, a mentor. Who really inspired you to become what you are right now? I could tell you, my sixth grade
question.
teacher, I had to go to summer school twice, 5th grade and 6th grade, because I was rambunctious and hyperactive and not doing well.
Yes.
And it was a Mrs. Goodpasture really helped me find that I was worth something and I could be more than I thought I could be. And so all of us sometimes have people that we look up to. It might be a parent. It might be a mother or father. So who inspired you?
Well, when I first got back to school, because I was a single dad, you know, I went through a divorce, and you know, I ended up having my son with me.
Okay.
And it was the fact that I wanted to be better for him. You know, he was 10 years old, and he saw me going to college, and he saw me doing all these cool things, and he wanted to be like me. He tells me, "Daddy, I want to go to college too." Of course, he wants to grow up to write comic books, but
Okay, that's all right.
That's cool.
He might get rich.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, might be the next Stan Lee.
Yeah.
But you know, like I figured, you know, I gotta keep going for him. And then it was one of the professors at EPCC, William Wolf, who pushed me to, you know what, don't just stop at your associate's degree, keep going, get your bachelor's, and you know what, just keep going, just keep pushing yourself.
William was a friend and a colleague of mine who
Yes, sir.
recently was married. He had 3 master's degrees. And the question, right after he was killed, I was in the dean's office, and we were talking about this, and we just mentioned the fact that there were 2 students waiting there to talk to the dean, a male and a female. And this came up about him having 3 master's degrees. And the young woman, I believe it was, asked the question, why would anyone want to work and get 3 master's degrees?
Why not?
And I said, well, William loved to learn
Yes.
in these different fields. He wasn't just narrow. He loved to learn a variety of things. So he ended up getting 3
Same here.
master's degrees.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. And so he was a great guy.
Oh yeah, he was a wonderful person. I loved hanging out with him outside of the classroom. He was always funny. Taught me how to invest my money. I mean, I never knew about investing until I met the man.
That's wonderful. What about that? Your mother, your father?
My mom, she inspired me. She's always been, she was a single mom for a long time, so she was always telling me to go for the A's and get things like that. And ever since then, academically, I've been inspired. But I guess within the society, actually, the president, Rachel Castillo, she actually inspired me to be where I am today. I'm the Success Networking Team Coordinator, along with Cheyenne Smith, which is the other one, and they inspired me to look over my shyness and to actually see the leadership qualities I have within myself. So that was something that I didn't think of myself as much of a leader. I thought, just stay in the back, see how life's going. So that's why I really appreciate Rachel, and she's done a lot for us.
Well, what do you mean by Success Network?
So we have Success Networking teams, and it's 5 to 6 people, and they're networking. So we have a wide range of people in the society. They're not just from one major. So we have biology, engineer, communication, arts, and we're getting them there together to see what they have in common. And so that way say, oh, I took this professor, oh, you should take this class, oh, I know of this internship. So we're trying to network them, and by networking with so many people, that can bring success. Because if, say, I tell you, oh, there's this internship I heard about for political science, right? You'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Then you go into it, and then you become successful, like you already are, but just more successful.
Yeah.
So that's what the society tries to do. That's why they call them that. And then a team, it can't just be one by one person. You need a whole team to build you up.
Okay. So tell us again the title of the organization.
It's the National Society of Leadership and Success.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a telephone number, a contact number you'd like for us to put on the screen for people that want to call?
We have a website, and then we also have an email address.
A website and email. Give us one or the other, whatever you want.
The website is www.societyleadership.org. And then our email for UTEP is nsls@utep.edu.
Okay.
So it is nationwide on the U.S. So this is just for the UTEP chapter that we have. But the website is actually for everything. So it tells you all about us.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Okay, talk about you. You were born here in El Paso?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and
Born and raised.
born and raised in El Paso, and
Yes.
lived where you went to El Paso High School. And what are you majoring in now?
I'm majoring in biology and psychology. I would like to go into neuroscience. We just don't have that degree here at UTEP. But I would like to research neurodegenerative disorders.
Oh my, what an objective. I tell my classes, current classes, I'll say, look, I never finished a doctorate. I have a master's degree and a number of hours above that and find everything interesting, but I never went on. We had all kinds of issues and health issues among some of our children and so on. And so I indicate that, look, I have some of you that are going to be getting your doctorates someday. I have 4 former students that I know that got their doctorates in biology.
Wow, cool.
And 3 of them now teach here, and 1 of them is a researcher, I think in neuroscience with biology.
interesting.
And I said, I'm so proud of them because they went on and they have achieved great goals and are now teaching others in some cases to achieve. So that's the way that I view leadership, is sometimes people can go further than we ever are able to go and do so much. And also I mentioned that all of us are specialists in something. I'll ask a question like, how many of you know algebra? How many of you know calculus? Okay, I say, look, you're a lot smarter than I am because, because I could never do those things.
Yeah.
I don't have a brain for math.
No, not me.
So leadership comes in so many packages and so many situations. Now, what about you? You were born here in El Paso?
Born and raised, born at Southwestern General Hospital, 1980.
1980.
Yeah,
okay.
it was a cold Christmas Eve night.
How do you know that?
I know.
My mom told me everything.
There you
There's
go.
more to the story, but I have to deal with my father and lose some
Yeah,
limbs.
right.
Okay.
Exactly.
But yes, I'm El Paso native. I'm actually majoring in business administration with a minor in human resource management.
Okay. Now, what did you like best in high school?
Art.
Art?
Art.
Okay.
Like art was the easy one, and it was what I was good at. I went with it, and I still practice. I still paint. I like to paint a lot of children's murals. I love my work can make a child smile. I love doing that.
Oh, wow. That's
Like I've actually did a mural once again for Family Service of El Paso. Did one for the Lee Moore Children's Home, and I actually had a couple of paintings auctioned off to charity for the Winchester House. So,
Very
Well, that's
cool.
really cool. Yeah, that's a great avocation. You're not making a living at it.
no,
but,
no, it's more of a hobby, just a feel-good thing that I like to do.
Yeah, right. And some of the things, what was your favorite subject in high school?
English.
English?
I actually wanted to be a writer, but I just didn't. I just after I went to college, I got so busy that I forgot about writing. But I love reading books, so that's my favorite thing. I
Well,
just like to read.
Well, you have to be able to read to just about do anything.
Yeah.
Unless you're just an athlete all the time and don't do anything. But even then, you have to read plays and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. Anything else you'd like to say about, have you been out of town for conventions with this organization?
Yeah, we tend to have
Yeah.
retreats.
We had just recently in October, I think, or November, they went to California. I was not. None of us were able to go, unfortunately, but it's basically a day where they teach them about the different roles, because we have a president, a vice president, and then the S&T coordinator like myself, publicity chair, community services. So we just kind of train them on how to maybe make it better, and everyone from that's in the United States, they come and get together so we can see how they run their chapter. So that's one of the big conferences they have.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to point out is that we get guest speakers ourselves, which are televised, like a conference. What's the word?
Yeah,
I'm looking for?
it's like a live stream.
Oh,
so
okay.
they know. Go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
I'm sorry. They mostly go to different colleges, and they ask them about how did they become so successful. We recently had we were able to see Al Roker, John C. Maxwell, Jesse Eisenberg, and who else came?
John Leguizamo,
And
the
John
comedian.
Leguizamo, yes.
Okay.
So we get to hear about how they overcame all the obstacles in their life before they became so successful.
Okay.
And
Some of my
so-
programs have been put on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, I figured out just this past week, I did an interview with Dr. Natalicio,
Yay, cool.
who has been president at UTEP now for 28 years or so. Very, very successful. I've liked her a lot. And so that interview is on YouTube now as number 266. Okay, I gave you a card, each one of you a little
Okay.
card here, and you can look at that address on YouTube and go to 266, you can see that. That's leadership at its finest, in my opinion.
Yes,
It is.
we're trying to get her to come, so
Yeah, we actually
hopefully-
want her to speak at our induction ceremony in May.
ceremony.
So.
Okay, I hope you
Yes.
can get her to do that. then, yeah.
Hopefully, and maybe we can get you to come talk about
I'll come and talk
yourself
sometimes.
too.
I
Of course.
do a
That's
lot of
interesting.
speaking engagements.
Sure.
Well, then we're going to. Even see if we can get this interview on YouTube. Would that be helpful to you
Oh,
if
yes,
we're
that'd
able to
be
get
great.
this
Yes, it would
interview
be.
on YouTube?
Yeah, we could
Yes.
actually send that to nationals, and they just love us for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they like
okay.
publicity. They want to see that what we're doing in our YouTube chapter.
Yeah, they like to
Things
see
like
a active board.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll make the best effort and see if we can get this. I don't know what number it will come up as. Probably about
that's fine.
270 something, because we've already done several interviews this past week. Leadership. One of the most important aspects of our lives.
Yes.
It's also helpful to be a follower who knows which leaders to follow.
That's
Exactly.
very true.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
Because leaders can take you down the wrong path.
Yes, they can.
They can take you into disaster.
Yes.
I also teach about leadership, and I'm sure you deal with this, is decision making. You have this in any of your episodes that you're working with, your interactions about how do you make a good decision that's going to be worthwhile for you and your organization?
We mostly do that within the e-board. So when we have our meetings, we try and think of what's the best decision for the members. So as a S&T coordinator for the facilitators, I'm trying to start that as well to make it where we can teach them how to make decisions that are for their members and not just for themselves. Because it's a hard position. Not everyone is used to being in a leadership position. So it might be hard to think about others, and we'd like to train them to do that.
Okay. Now, I just asked a question the other day in class that I ask every semester, is that when did you become independent of your family? You're out on your own. You remember that? I don't know if you're out on your own yet. You may be living at home or something. But a few of my students, and they'll say, yeah, I remember that. And I said, was it scary? You had to become your own. You brought this up a while ago, individual leadership. You became your own leader, and you had to make decisions about car purchases, use of your credit card, paying the utility bills. Do you remember that?
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, I've never known anxiety till that day.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think what really got me was the day I got married and got away from home, and me and my wife were expecting and stuff, and I was petrified. I was just, oh man, I just, do I make enough money? Do we have a good car? I I ended up selling my 1988 Camaro to get a nice economical car.
What a sacrifice.
I was like, I'm doing it for the boy.
Oh, right. Are you out on your own yet?
I'm not.
Okay.
No, I still live at home, but there's some independence. I just bought my car recently, so that was cool. It's nice to kind of do things on your own.
Right.
So hopefully soon I'll be graduating in December.
Okay.
So we'll see where that takes me. Scary.
Oh, well, I know. I remember that when I was out on my own and had to get a job, and it was not an easy job. My first big job was working the oil fields.
Oh, wow.
Dirty, sandstorms and all that between Odessa and Lubbock, Texas. And then you have to really start thinking about what you're doing with your life, and you're making your own decisions, and like I mentioned, all these things that you do. Well, we have about maybe 4 minutes left. Any other thing that we've overlooked that you want to stress, people need to know about your organization and things it does?
Well, in the success networking teams, we just like to stress SMART goals. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, rewarding, and timely. So we want them to kind of, because some may say, oh, I want to get an A in this class. And we're trying to get them to think more about that. Like, how are you going to get the A in that class? Are you going to study more? Things like that. So that's what we're really trying to incorporate within the society, is what a SMART goal is.
Yeah.
So that way, going on into their life, they need to know, okay, if I set this goal for myself, how am I going to get there? Like buying a car, how am I going to buy the car? What kind of money do I need to save up? So we're trying to teach them that. That's one of the things we're trying to do lately.
It's more than just a grade. Is it what knowledge you're learning right now that you'll be able to use perhaps for the rest of your life? I discovered when I started college, dropped out, worked in the oil fields a year and a half, then went back. And I decided one thing I needed to do to be successful was learn language. So I bought a stack of English cards, flashcards, and I started learning words. And even now, sometimes, all these 55 or 56 years later or so, I'll hear a word, and my wife will be sitting there, be on TV, and say, "What does that mean?" And I'll tell her. And she says, where did you learn that? And I said, "I learned it 55 years ago with a flashcard
There you
at
go.
Wayland Baptist College." Okay. And so that's a key to leadership too, is knowing the right words to use at the right time to motivate
Yes.
someone
Yes.
else to do something. Now you can use, we see in these presidential campaigns sometimes, a lot of negative words that are
Yes.
being
Oh,
used.
unfortunately.
A lot of mudslinging.
A lot of
Yeah.
mudslinging, and I don't like that. I prefer
me
that we
neither.
be positive, look for positive,
Yes.
helpful words and things that we can use. I'm not real good about put down comics
Yeah.
and vulgar comics that are using all of these
No, I
things.
don't like that
I
either.
prefer a little bit more wholesomeness to some of the things in leadership. That's what I look for in some leaders.
Mm-hmm.
How are you using words, and how are you trying to get me to do what you want to do?
Very
Well,
true.
I'm glad that
It's
you
a pleasure
came
to meet you.
today, and you don't need to be timid anymore.
I won't be anymore.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Glad to have you. Good luck with your work and with your organization, and let me know if we can help you in any way.
Sure
Just
will.
yeah. Thank you. All I want to say is, if anybody interested in wanting to contact us to help out with any community service events, go ahead and just give us an email. We're always interested.
We're going to put that up there on the
Yes.
screen. Well, thank you for watching another program of Perspectives El Paso. I told you I would introduce you people that are not necessarily celebrities, but you never know, someday they may be.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.